Hello, everybody, and welcome into another News and Rumors video here at the Hockey Writers YouTube channel. I'm your host, Matthew Zator, and we are doing the San Jose Sharks here. I got Alex Hutton, who covers the Sharks, the only writer on the site that covers the Sharks, also is the season preview. Alex, how's it going?
Going good. Glad to be here, trying out this new thing, this new series for the Sharks. So I'm looking forward to having fun.
For sure, yeah. And I mean, the Sharks obviously, I don't know if everyone was hoping that maybe the season would start better, but they're 0-1-2. I mean, it's not horrible. They've got some points. They got 2 points in 3 games. Couple OT, beyond regulation, getting that point, but I have yet to have their first win. But what did you think about, we'll start with Michael Misa's debut, because that's an exciting thing. And it took a while for him to make the debut. He made the team out of training camp and the opening night roster. What did you think about his first game in the NHL? I mean, played against the Hurricanes, one of the best teams in the league. Of course, lost 5-1. But how did you think he looked in his first go around?
I thought he looked fine. I didn't see him do anything spectacular that blew me away, but I also didn't see him make any major mistakes or really do anything that really cost the team. And I think for a rookie, that's honestly a huge part of the equation is, can you just be a steady player who's not going to actively pull the team down? I think you mentioned how good the Hurricanes are. Going up against them for your first ever game is a tough assignment. It's definitely being thrown into the fire a little bit on his part. So I think for him, it's a lot about, just adjusting to the pace of the NHL and how much faster and more physical it can be than juniors. And obviously the skill level of the players are going to go up, especially against a team like the Hurricanes, who are going to just fly at you for 60 minutes pretty much. So it was a test for him. And he, like I said, it wasn't like he stepped up and did anything major, but he also didn't seem to be entirely overwhelmed, which again, against a team as good as the Hurricanes, I think that's a good start. And we'll see, he's got at least 8 more games at some point this season. So we'll see how those balance out, where he gets put in the lineup. And it's a good step. And, it'll be against a variety of different teams that have a variety of different quality and caliber. So we'll see how he adjusts as the season goes on.
Mm-hmm. Well, he played 1506. It was a -2. I mean, plus minus, whatever. -2, no shots on goal, 2 blocked shots. I mean, again, not a spectacular stat line.
Right.
Played a decent amount. I mean, 15 minutes is not fourth line. That's third line minutes. But no shots on goal. I mean, I don't know if anyone anticipated him to get more than that, especially how he had such a great junior career and all that. But I mean, in Vancouver here, Braden Coots made the team right out as well. And he kind of looked probably the same as Misa, kind of very, didn't look out of place, but obviously not ready for the NHL yet. Misa, of course, a very more high caliber guy. But I mean, that stat line's not horrible. And we'll see how he does against maybe some lesser teams. But the Hurricanes, like you said, are a really, really good team. They're probably, they're on to probably win their division. So, I mean, overall, I think first game, not bad.
Yeah. I will say the Sharks as a whole just looked overmatched for a lot of that game, especially in the last 2 periods. So yes, I think there were certainly moments where, maybe he's, still adjusting everything, but I think that's more of a team-wide thing than something relating to him specifically.
Yeah, I think so too. And we'll see how the rest of his time goes. I don't know how many more games he'll get. He might get the full 9, or he might be sent back after 5, but we'll see. I don't know. Do you think at this point, and maybe it's too early to ask this, but do you think he does just get sent back before the 9, or, before that kind of kicks in?
I would give him the 9, just to give him as much of a leash and a test as possible, and give him that chance to see how he does it in the NHL and see if he can, prove something in those first few games. Obviously, it's such a short window, no matter what. So I feel like if I'm the Sharks, I'm just trying to make it as big as possible.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, you give him as much time in the NHL and see how he kind of adjusts to things, then it's a good experience for him before he goes back. I don't anticipate him going beyond that unless he blows everyone away in the next 8 games. and looks totally at home in the NHL, but I don't think they do that. Unless like Celebrini, of course, he's a bit of an exception the way he played in his rookie season. But we'll see how it all goes the rest of the way. All right. Well, look at the rest. I mean, the season so far, we mentioned the record. They don't have their first win yet. The last 2 seasons, it's taken a while for them to get their first wins. Hopefully it comes a little sooner. But what have you seen from the Sharks so far this season?
Yeah, definitely still improving, getting a little better. Like even, it took them about as long last season to get their first win as it did the season before. But even within that, you could tell they were still getting better, and it just wasn't showing up in the record. I think you're seeing about the same this year, where they could have easily won each of the first 2 games, and just some bad bounces, and especially the Vegas one where they played really well and just got some unfortunate puck luck that cost them in that game. And then against Anaheim, didn't play nearly as well, but still had a chance to pull it out at the end, and just fell apart a little bit in that last minute or 2, and that cost him. And then obviously the end result in overtime. So I think what the team still has to balance also as well is figuring out how much leeway veterans get versus how much leeway young guys get. There's a feeling around the team that the coaching staff is maybe letting the veterans kind of make more mistakes without seeing playing time reduced, whereas young players who make mistakes might get scratched or get less ice time. And I think that's something to pay attention to, because the Sharks are obviously trying to build up this roster kind of from the ground up, and that's going to involve a lot of young players, and it's going to necessitate them getting on the ice. And if they're always going into the doghouse for every mistake, what kind of lesson or messages does that send? So that's going to be definitely something to pay attention to, because you've seen Shakir Mukhamadullin get scratched a couple times to make way for Sam Dickinson rather than maybe a veteran guy. Nick Leddy, John Klingberg have had their rough moments as well, but it was the young guy who got taken out of the lineup to make room for another young guy. And then Colin Graf had a couple of pretty good games, but he was the one who got taken out so that Misa could play. And so there's a lot of question marks surrounding that, and how is the coaching staff going to handle those situations, which is going to be interesting to follow probably throughout the season.
Yeah, to make, especially with so many veterans, like we mentioned in the season preview of them signing more veteran guys too, especially on defense. But yeah, Sam Dickinson is he was a -3 in the last game. I mean, there weren't a lot of pluses, especially after losing 5-1. But Dickinson, we've talked about him being one of the building blocks on defense. We're probably going to be on the top pairing at some point. But still easing his way into the NHL. Only played 11:52 in that game. What did you think about Dickinson so far in the NHL? I mean, he's another one of their key guys going forward.
Yeah, I thought he was all right against Anaheim. A little bit of the same thing as Misa, or maybe not blowing you away, but doing some things right and trying to avoid those mistakes as much as possible. I think Carolina, his game was a little bit rougher. Let some plays get behind him. Kind of got caught off guard and let guys beat into the net a few times, which was unfortunate. But again, Hurricanes, one of the best teams, one of the fastest teams, going to keep coming at you. So he's got to get adjusted to that as well. I think in this situation that him and Misa are both in, where it might just be a trial of a few games, doesn't necessarily hurt to take some plunges and say, hey, this is what it's going to be like, and this is something you have to get used to. And if it's not going to burn a year of your contract, might as well do it right now, and have you test it out a few times, and just it'll lead to adjustments as they go on, things to work on in juniors if they go back there, and things to figure out and keep developing in their games.
Yeah, I mean, he played way less than everyone else. I mean, you're looking at, the rest of the guys in the lineup are all veterans, so I guess that makes sense. So I mean, we'll see how he does. I mean, he's just got so much potential, and eventually he will hit that. Probably one of the better two-way defensemen in the NHL at some point. But yeah, he's not getting a ton of minutes. He's being eased in, I guess, into the NHL. I don't know if that's the right decision. You don't want to really throw him completely into the fire, playing 25 minutes, like seems like Matthew Schaefer's doing in New York. But I mean, yeah, I think doing it the way I would give him a bit more minutes, though. I mean, I don't know what his average has been over the last bunch of games. Has he played around that 15 minutes?
I mean, he's only played in those 2 games so far.
Right. So just around that same.
Yeah, I mean, it's a small sample size at this point, and I think a lot of it depends on the matchups and which teams they're playing and which teams do they feel like does the coaching staff feel like he's going to have the best shot?
Yeah, for sure. And we'll see how the rest of his season, if he does, again, the 9 games thing as well for him. I believe. I don't think he's AHL ready.
He's not. He's only 19. So
he's still young too. So I mean, he's gone that 9-game type trial as well to see how he does. Of course, that rule to send 19-year-olds to the AHL is not in effect yet. It's going to be interesting to see. That's going to be an interesting thing next season. How many teams will do that? Send down one of their 19-year-olds or 18-year-olds to the AHL to see how they do down there. But of course, that's not a thing this season yet. But we'll see how that all goes. I mean, Dickinson, of course, will be 20 next year, so it doesn't really matter for him. But Misa might be an interesting one next season to kind of talk about. So we'll see how that all goes. But thanks, Alex, for coming on, talking the Sharks as we continue going through the season. Again, very small sample size so far, but hopefully by the next time we talk, they've got their first win under their belt, and we'll be talking about their first win. So thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right. Well, make sure to check out everything at thehockeywriters.com. We've got great articles throughout the site as the season's going on now. We've got games, lots of stuff, game recaps, takeaways, fun articles and content throughout the website and our Substacks and the YouTube channel, which got lots of other news and rumors videos if you want to take a look at those. But until our next one, we'll see you next time.